Hi, and welcome to Soul Food Ministries and Outreach. I'm Henriette Hobson, and welcome to No More Jim Crow Ministry. Today, we are going to speak about mental health again and how African American people do not have any room for mental illness in their life. I'm gonna make this clear. I know people that are struggling and they're on medication and going to see psychiatrists and psychologists and they're struggling with anxiety and all that are saying, how dare you, this, that, and the other. Okay, listen, just listen. Pull yourself together. You're gonna have to learn to do that on your own. Because when we go and look for help from the sources that are supposed to be available, resources that are available for us, we don't come out well. They are murdering us. The situation with the young man on the subway in New York was really brought my attention to respond to this again. And it's because there were people on that subway that helped murder him. They held his hands back so that he could not reach up and grasp some room to get some air. And then so disturbing, you look up and you see this nice looking brother. His eyes are fixed. He's gone. This trained Marine just murdered him because. Now, are they using the excuse, well, he was threatening people? People get threatened every day. He didn't, far as I know, have a weapon. This is a little skinny guy. He didn't have a weapon. And the guy that put him in the chokehold, he wasn't even involved. I don't think the threat was even at him. He came from behind and got this guy, from my understanding. Premeditated. He's a trained Marine, so he knows what he's doing. Then he has people on the train that are helping hold this man down to help murder him. They need to go down with him. Listen, we as Black Americans, we cannot afford to have mental breakdowns. I know that may not sound politically correct. You may not like it because you're dealing with anxiety and whatever, and maybe seeing someone, some console, or taking some medication. But let me tell you the truth. I hope you hear me. I hope you hear me. I mean, you need to just go back through the YouTubes and the news and take a look at within just the last year, how many people have been murdered by EMTs and police because of a mental breakdown. Listen, you don't have room for a mental breakdown. Where was any compassion for this man on this subway with all the people that were on that? Did not any one person on that subway have any decency in them? Someone could have easily said, hey, buddy, what's wrong? We know what's wrong. Don't ask him what's wrong because he's going to keep on going. But, listen, the man said something about not having any food. He was tired of being. So, yeah, we know everybody's struggling, man. It's really getting to us all. But, I got a couple of extra bucks, man. Can I give you a 20? Can I give you a 10 or 5? $20 to save this man's life or anyone else that would be threatened. It's well worth it. That could have possibly calmed him down. And he'd be alive today for more help. I'm told there are people that knew him, and he was a Michael Jackson enthusiast, and he loved dancing, and he would be on the subway dancing. in our costume, you know? And you mean to tell me nobody got it? That this man just needed somebody to show that they care? That he wasn't violent, maybe with his words, he was just expressing the frustration in his inside. But murder him in cold blood, that was a George Floyd moment. 15 minutes to be exact, they said. Black Americans, we do not have the luxury, and it's really not a luxury, but just to be sort of sarcastic about it, to have a mental problem and break down and start lashing out and start venting and yelling and carrying and threatening and what have you, talking about this or that and the other. Because white America and others that want to be white, think they are white, are looking for a reason, an opportunity to murder us. This is not just from the regular citizen. We're talking about people in charge, in leadership, that have sworn to care and to help you. Do not think you are like the others, because you're not. They're not going to treat you like the others. And you may very well not have an opportunity to have another mental episode. I have called that every one of them, just about, I bring in the call to Jesus. Black Americans, come to Jesus. All over all the Americas, come to Jesus. He is the answer to stress, not marijuana, not drugs, not psychiatrists, psychologists. Now, I'm not telling you to stop going or stop taking your medicines or anything like that. What I am saying is Jesus can regulate your mind to a place and to a point that one day you won't need it. But you don't need to come off of it until someone has said so. That's a professional. I am not. Not that kind of professional anyway. So, everybody struggled with some type of, stress on their minds. For various reasons. Everyone's threshold is not the same. What would trigger me won't trigger you, maybe. And what may trigger you won't trigger me. We have different strengths in different areas. Myself and people of all walks of life have struggled with some form of anxiety, stress, fear, just even a moment of hopelessness, even suicide, the thoughts or suggestions that come along with feeling hopeless. We are the strongest people on the planet. We have suffered more than any group of people anywhere. Disrespected, and not just a few hundred years or even thousands, but we're talking ongoing still. Any little thing to degrade and disrespect us. I know every group on the planet that considers themselves are connected to a certain group of people by name or whatever, the First Nations or Native Americans, whichever they choose. I I'm not sure, but both of them are appropriate and seem respectful to me, and I mean it in a respectful manner. And anyway, I'm talking about myself, okay? The Italians. One young lady, she was just on yesterday or day before yesterday. I saw her YouTube, and she's over there talking about how Italians became white. And in the midst of describing this happening, the event, oh, how they were treated worse than the blacks. You know what? Never say that. Never say that. Because it's a lie. They had I don't want to minimize anybody's suffering and torture, but it's brief in comparison to what we as African Black Americans here that have dealt with and still dealing with. She could go down the street any day, any time and walk through there and pretend like she's just plain old white, and somebody would believe her and she'll get treated with the privilege. Now,